we're going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. I'm Stephanie Marsh, Chief Communications Officer for the City of Akron. Today we have Akron Mayor Dan Horrigan, Police Chief Steve Mylett, and Deputy Mayor Marco Somerville here, who will give a few remarks, and then we'll do some Q&A again at the end. As a reminder to media, if you could please put your questions in the Q&A section of the webinar. We'll take a few of those at the end of this briefing. Just quickly, a couple points. We did launch our incident website yesterday. It's at akronupdates.com. That's going to have planned road closures, any relevant press releases that we've put out in regards to this incident, links to resources, including the body-worn camera footage and more. Additionally, we will not be holding this press briefing tomorrow. We'll resume again on Thursday, and we will not be holding them over the weekends. The plan is to hold them Monday through Friday. With that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Mayor Horrigan.
Well, good morning. Last night, I was honored, along with all of Akron City Council, who unanimously passed and proposed a citywide day of mourning for Jayland Walker and his family. I know this tragedy has profoundly and deeply impacted the city, but tomorrow's day is about mourning for Jayland and keeping his family in our thoughts and prayers, but also demonstrating what I think is an abundant amount of compassion and humility across the community for him and his family as they go through this grief and mourning. From that standpoint, like I said, I think City Council did an excellent job in expressing their thoughts and concerns on a number of topics, but tomorrow is about mourning for Jayland as a community and grieving with his family. Steph, I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, Mayor. I'll go ahead and Chief, if you'd like to speak.
Yes, again, I echo Mayor Horrigan's sentiments. Again, it's been a very difficult time period for all of us. No more than the most important people in this right now, as they are about to bury their son, their brother, their cousin, the Walker family, and our condolences continue to go out to them and their prayers. It's been difficult on this police department. It's been difficult on this community. We will get through this together. And there are many, many conversations that are already taking place as we move forward from this event. Last night, there was some demonstrations out in front of City Hall. There was information that was being put out that demonstrators were being blocked in and they couldn't get out. So we closed the streets at a certain time each day in order to provide safe space for people that are demonstrating, that are in the street. So that's what we did yesterday. We blocked High Street with snowplows in order to provide that safe space. When the demonstrators were done, we moved the snowplows just as quickly as we could to allow them to exit. And we will continue to do that because their safety is of the utmost importance when we have people down in the downtown corridor demonstrating. Also, there have been a couple questions raised recently about the press conference that we held on July 3rd. I would encourage people, if you have any questions at all, please go to akroncops.org, and under the critical incidents tab, you can see the entire press conference and draw your own conclusions. And Stephanie, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Chief. Deputy Mayor Marco Somerville, I just wanted to give you an opportunity if you wanted to add anything before we go to questions.
Well, there's not much to add other than to say thank you to this community for staying calm during this very difficult time. As always, and most importantly, we are sending our condolences out to the family. We plan on going to the service tomorrow to show our respect to him and his family. And we would ask that this community still continue to stay calm and wait till all the facts are out so we can move this community forward.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and do some questions now. The first one is from Jennifer Kahn with Spectrum News. She asks, how do local groups who wish to have a sit-down conversation with the city schedule that with the DOJ? Mayor?
I know we're working on a number of fronts to be able to schedule that. I know the Department of Justice has reached out to a number of groups. If there is another group that would like to have a conversation, obviously with the city, with the DOJ at the table, certainly you can email us and we can certainly contact you and put you in contact so we can try and schedule that as soon as possible.
Thanks, Mayor. I'll just add the email you can send to is press@akronohio.gov, and we'll work on that for you. The next question is from Jim McKinnon from the Akron Beacon Journal. He said, City Council canceled its in-person meeting yesterday because of a bomb threat. If there was a threat, why were protesters allowed outside City Hall, possibly endangering them? Chief, I'll let you answer that one.
I'm not sure where that information is coming from. I checked with my staff this morning. I heard about the story. There's been a lot of information that has been shared, but we had no known threat. And again, as I said, I checked with my staff, we checked with our partners, and there was no bomb threat that we were aware of.
Thanks, Chief. Looks like Jim has another question from the Beacon. He said, has Akron PD adjusted its traffic stop and chase policies and procedures as a result of the Jayland Walker shooting? If so, can you elaborate? And if not, why not? Chief, I'll let you answer that one again.
So the BCI is doing their investigation. We will do an internal investigation as well to determine if there were any violations of department policies. And based on that investigation and its findings, if there are any adjustments that need to be made, we'll make them. But until then, we're going to continue our operations as they have been.
And I would just add just one. I know the number of questions that have come up about that, and I think we tried to address that just a little bit yesterday. As this is an ongoing investigation and those facts are being gathered, I guess commenting on those policies and procedures and not trying to affect the independent investigation that is going on. Those are part of those internal conversations with a number of groups that are working through those, and we'll have some results in the very near future.
Thanks, Mayor. Marco, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to chime in too on that. I know you were integral in the process of the charter commission that was created for the review board, which then got that body worn camera footage ordinance passed. Do you want to talk about that process at all, what that looked like?
Well, I want to also add that it's my understanding that the policy of the Akron Police Department is if there is a minor traffic offense, that they will, after 3 minutes, I think it is, they will stop pursuit of anybody. So I'm pretty sure that's pretty much the same way that we've tried to do it. And the fact of as a city, what we've tried to do is do a number of things, and we've done this early on. And I think the fact that the body camera footage came out within 7 days, and as I said at our first press conference, the mayor could have signed an executive order, but he did not do that. He had a charter review commission look over that issue and give him a recommendation, and that recommendation was to put it into the charter. So the mayor couldn't stop it, the chief of police couldn't stop it. And in the past, we've had situations where the police only showed part of what happened in those body cameras, and that's not what we wanted to happen this time. And so we were only required by the charter to release 3 body cams, even though we had 13. And we made a decision internally, the mayor and the chief, that we would release all 13 of them, so it would be no question that we were giving everything to the community and for everyone to see what exactly happened on that terrible night.
Stephanie, if I can also add just real quick, and I'm glad that Deputy Mayor Somerville made the comment about the pursuits. This department has a history of canceling its pursuit, about 45% of them, and he's correct. We consider road conditions, we consider the driving behavior of the person that we are pursuing. We are considering weather conditions. There's a whole lot of things that go into it, to include the actions of the individual that is not stopping. Based on all of that, we the officers themselves will make a determination whether or not they should cancel the pursuit, and they oftentimes do. And if not them, then the supervisor is monitoring it, and he or she will cancel the pursuit if necessary. And so there's a whole, when I responded the way I did, I would encourage people to get online and look at our policy to know exactly what it is.
I would only add one thing. I know there was a significant amount of work through the Racial Equity and Social Justice Task Force on those recommendations, and also through City Council's Reimagining Public Safety. And I know there's a lot of conversations about instituting many of those things, that the work they were doing just after the report was issued at the end of February. And look forward to bringing those to City Council in the very near future.
Thanks all. And just to Chief's point regarding policies and procedures, those are being added to the akronupdates.com site. So you'll be able to link to those directly from that resources page. Next question is from Jennifer Kahn from Spectrum News. Will someone from the city attend Jayland Walker's funeral? Mayor, I'll let you start with that one.
I know this, that from a standpoint, we don't want to be any sort of distraction to Jayland in the mourning and the grief that his family is feeling. At this particular point, it is, I have a heartfelt belief in the compassion and humility and the love for this community for him and his family. And I know it is strong, and I felt that every day since about how profoundly and deeply impactful this tragedy has been on the family and on the community, and continue to know that we mourn for him and continue to grieve with the family.
Thanks, Mayor. So the next question, again, is from Jim McKinnon. Will the Akron Police Department stop encrypting its radio transmissions to be more transparent to the public on its activities? If not, what is the purpose of the encryption? Chief?
So there's a lot of sensitive information that is shared over the radio frequently. Victims' names, officer tactics, and for the safety of the community and the safety of the officers, we need to ensure that people who are motivated to take that information and harm don't get it. And so we will continue to operate the way that we have. And, you know, safety is number one for everybody. And I understand where some people can be concerned that, you know, we're not being transparent in that way, but please understand, we are considering the safety of the public, and there's a lot of information that gets shared over the radio. And also, just to keep in mind that all of the radio traffic is subject to open records, and you can get recordings upon request.
Thanks, Chief. The next question is from Tara Morgan from News 5. She said, has the police department received any additional intelligence notifications from the FBI about threats on officers? Are all 8 officers getting extra security at home because of death threats? And if so, who is providing that security? Again, Chief, I'll pass that one on to you.
So I'll answer the first one first. So the FBI, I have not heard an update from the FBI within the last 48 hours. In terms of the officers, I'm not going to discuss what actions they're taking or any actions that have been taken on their behalf. This is a traumatic time for them and their families, as it is for all of our police officers here. The misinformation that was going out on social media has caused a reaction by officers. As I said on a recent interview, that you know, information was being shared on social media that was incorrect. And the 2 officers, the 2 sergeants that were being named had nothing to do with the incidents that were being attributed to them. And folks, these are sergeants that we want guiding our officers. They're top notch. So I'm not going to repeat what I said in the recent press interview, but people need to be mindful about what they're putting on social media pertaining to our officers, but also pertaining to the Walker family. People just need to stop.
Thanks, Chief. It looks like that was actually our last question. Mayor, did you want to add some closing thoughts?
I want to reiterate, especially from the beginning, that tomorrow is about that day of mourning for Jayland and his family, and know that that all of us are mourning with you and grieving with you, and will help you get through this process. As a community, I've always believed in my 60 years here in the strength of this community, its compassion, its humility, and really its empathy to wrap around everybody in this community and to help us get through this. I appreciate everybody that has offered those supports for the family, the members of Akron City Council, and their thoughtful perspective on all of the things that we need to do as a community to move forward. So thank you, and God bless Jayland Walker.
Thanks, Mayor. As a reminder, then, we will not have this press briefing tomorrow. in order to respect that day of mourning. Also, all city-owned parking decks downtown will be free parking for anyone who wants to come down. They'll be holding the memorial at the Akron Civic Theater. I'll be putting out a press release that has some more information on that. And that concludes the press briefing for today. Thank you so much.